Hello, good day. I'm glad to be able to share with you this day about economics. I'm sure kayo po ay nasa mabuting kalagayan as you are studying and learning the basic foundation of economics, particularly supply and demand. I am Alvin Ang, Professor of Economics at the Ateneo de Manila University Economics Department, and I'll be sharing with you the basic principles of economics, particularly supply and demand, as we study it in the midst of the pandemic. Alam niyo po ba na kahit na may pandemic, the foundation of economics to change, yun pa rin. Yun pa rin ang ginagamit, yun pa rin ang natutunan, yun pa rin ang nagpapatakbo ng ating ekonomiya. Saan ba ito nanggagaling? You know, despite this pandemic, lahat po tayo still are buying and selling. Meron pa rin tayong mga needs and wants. And in fact, it is magnified in this pandemic. Why? Tignan nyo po, in your fingertips, you can look for goods and services online anytime. You don't need to leave your home and even your bed. Ganyan po ang ibig sabihin ng economics na unlimited needs and wants ng mga tao. However, we can have all this fascination or fantasy about having this good or this service available or accessible to us. The question is, somebody must produce them. So, kailangan po, meron pong producers of these goods and services. Kaya may tinatawag po na meeting point, right? So, the meeting point happens because we, as consumers, we have unlimited needs and wants. It is translated to satisfaction. No? Bakit ka ba kanina nag-order ng favorite mong hamburger meal sa online ng isang fast food chain? It is because that hamburger meal will provide you satisfaction. And why did that hamburger chain or that fast food chain produce that value meal that you ordered? Because not only does that company responded to your needs and wants to give you satisfaction, but also because that company can make profit out of that transaction. So, supply, demand is a win-win situation for consumers and producers. So, tandaan po natin, the incentives are based on satisfaction for consumers, profit for producers. Alright. So, i-continue po natin tong discussion. Look at it at this level. Pag pinag-usapan natin ang profit, ang pinag-uusapan natin ay pinag-uusapan din natin ang kinikita. At bakit ang isang producer magpo-produce ng value meal na yun for you? Kasi alam niya merong nagde-desire, no? At bakit hindi na desire mo? Kasi you are satisfied, di ba? So, iba-iba tao, pero iba-iba din yung mga needs and wants natin. Unlimited ang needs and wants, pero limited ang resources to provide for all of them. Alright? So, katulad niyan, kung tayo unlimited needs and wants natin, bakit hindi natin mabili lahat ng gusto natin? Because limited ang income natin. So, for you as students, limited ang allowance nyo. In the same manner, hindi porket unlimited ang needs and wants ay kayang i-produce lahat ng producer o ng supply, i-supply lahat ng goods and services na gusto natin. Why? Kasi limited din ang capital niya. And therefore, ang nangyayari, sa bawat decision na pinipili nila, there is what is known as opportunity cost. So, halimbawa, if your allowance kung regular school ay 1,000 a week, no? So 1,000 a week na yon, inubos mo lahat sa food, right? Ang opportunity cost nun is nabili mo lahat ng food pero hindi ka na makabili ng supplies mo, right? Yon, may limitation. Ganun din yung producer. The producer naman, you produce the best product and service na sa tingin niya ay pinakamalaki ang profit na makukuha niya. Alright? So in summary, pagtikitin natin yung tatlo, pinag-usapan natin dito ay consumer-derived satisfaction, producers look for profit, and they are affected by the unlimited needs and wants. However, these are limited by the resources available to both the consumers and the producers. And that is why there is an opportunity cost for every decision that we make. Right? Yun ang foundation ng economics, no? Pag nakuha na natin, yun po ang nagdadala sa atin dun sa idea called market. What is a market? That is the mechanism that is put together in order to settle what the consumer demands and what the producers will produce. That is what is called the market. No? Now, in the early days, ang markets na nakikita natin is still existing naman, yung mga wet markets wherein the buyer and seller physically can haggle for the price of a particular good or product that are being sold. Right? But today, the markets have become sophisticated. Nagkaroon na tayo ng supermarket, ng malls, ng tiangge, ng online selling. Nagkaroon tayo ng different platforms. These are all markets. Why? There is a buyer, there is a seller, right? And this is the place where the buyers and sellers agree with the price, with the product that they want to buy, and with the product that they want to sell. So tandaan natin, kapag nag-decide ka ng magbayad, you are already agreeing to the price. Alright? So hindi porket nagbayad ka, sasabihin mo, wala namang, di na kami nag-haggle but you agreed to the price, then that is a consumed transaction. That is a transaction na nangyari. So nangyayari, the price is a signal. It's a signaling mechanism between the producers and the consumers. No? So tayo, pag bibili tayo, di ba, ang natin tinitingnan, magkano ba to? It's the price. We may be attracted by the looks of a good, or we may be attracted by the service, but it is still the price that will be our main signal. And this is what is addressed by the law of supply and demand. No? Tawag dito law not because it was passed by Congress or there is a Republic Act in the Philippines that made it. No, it is a natural law similar to physics. No, pag gumawa ka ng bato, pag tinaap mo pataas, bababa, the natural law of gravity tells us bababa siya. So ganun din sa supply and demand. It is a natural law. So ano yung natural law sa supply and demand? Ang natural law doon is yung response or yung behavior ng buyer and ng seller. So let's take it one by one. Punta muna tayo sa law of demand. Ano ginagawa sa law of demand? The law of demand talks about prices and quantity demanded. In the example that I'm sharing with you, I'm using the example of pandesal. Bakit pandesal? Common sa lahat napakadali, di ba? So, halimbawa, may pandesal na available, pero hindi lahat ng tindahan pare-parehong presyo. So, pwede magbenta ng piso, 2 piso, 150, up to 250, no? Yung range, no? Usually we have a range sa mga different na bakeries or panaderia. So, the cheaper the price, the more you can afford, di ba? So, sabi ko dun sa example, sa chart, kung piso, you can buy 38, no? Ibig sabihin, ang budget ng taong to ay 38 pesos, kaya niyang bilhin 38. Or yung mga taong pwedeng bumili doon, hanggang 38 kayang bilhin pag piso. No, kung isa-isa may piso sila, 38 na tao makakabili. Pero kung naging 250 na ang pandesal, 18 na lang ang kayang bilhin ng mga tao. Ano ibig sabihin nun? That means that the higher the price of the pandesal, the less of it we will buy. So there is an inverse relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Yun yung law, no? Mas mahal, mas konti bibili natin. Mas mura, mas madaming bibili natin. Yun lang po ang law of demand. Now, what about the law of supply? The law of supply is simply the reverse of the law of demand because now the incentive is different. The incentive is the supplier. Now, for the sake of argument, yung piso, remember the seller will not sell kung hindi siya magkakaroon ng profit, no? Hindi siya walang point, di ba? Parang ipinamigay lang niya. So, if the pandesal is 1 peso, the seller probably produce 1 pandesal at 90 centavos for the sake of argument. So, a seller makes 10 cents for each centavos for each pandesal. So, if the price of pandesal goes up to 250, no? Magkano na yung kinita niya? Diba? For the same cost of production of 90 centavos, the pandesal maker now makes 1 peso and 60 centavos, hindi ba? So, anong ibig sabihin nun? Yun yung incentive niya. So, the higher the price, the more the producer will sell. Kasi, the profit is going to be larger. Especially if the cost of production is always met. Okay? So, yun lang yung dalawa. So, if they now meet, no, dahil nga mayroong parehong interest, di ba? The consumer wants to be satisfied. The producer wants to be making profit. So, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na equilibrium, which is the balance, no? The prices are the ones causing the consumers and producers to come into a balance. So, the balance is an equilibrium where both the buyers and sellers agree at the price and a transaction is done. So, the role of the market is really to bring consumers and producers into an agreement. Katulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, kapag bumili ka na, nagbayad ka na, nag-agree ka na. Okay? Iba ito dun sa add to cart, no? Hindi ka pa nag-agree doon. Nag-window shopping ka pa lang. Nilagay mo, potentially parang pwedeng price pero hindi ka pa nagbayad, so hindi pa final, wala pang transaction. Alright? So the equilibrium happens only when there is an agreement, no? Lahat ng consumed transaction ay may agreement. That's why yan ang importance ng receipt. A receipt is a contract between you and the seller that the seller sold you a product at this price and you agreed to pay at this price. Right? So, napakahalaga nung equilibrium. Meaning, yun yung agreement. Okay? So, for every goods and service, iba-iba yung equilibrium. Now, we are in a modern market where producers have created their own markets. No? Kaya nga sa supermarket, hindi pinag-usapan ng generic na pandesal kasi maraming nagtitinda ng pandesal doon na nakapack na. So, they created their own market. So, nagkalagay sila ng dinidifferentiate nila yung pandesal na may ube, na may munggo, iniiba. Hindi ba? So, what is happening there is they created their own market. So that, if you agree to that price, that is the price. No? So, ano nangyayari dito? Ang supply and demand ngayon sa modern society is based on our desire, based on our ability to agree to what is offered to us. Okay? But still, no? Kaya nga kahit na dun sa mga online platforms, di ba? Ang dami choices. Titignan mo, pipili ka. Ano ba dito ang kukunin mo at i-add to cart mo at eventually bibilhin mo. Okay? Now, alam natin, we also know that it's not only the price that matters. There are other things that matters in supply and demand. It happens na bibili natin isang product o isang service, kung hindi lang presyo tinitingnan natin, we're also looking at other factors. Let me work on it, and these factors are called supply and demand shifters, no? Kasi kung price lang ang pinag-uusapan, the price can only increase or decrease the quantity you will buy or you will sell. But if it's shifting, that means the whole curve, lahat gagalaw. No? Ibig sabihin, mas dadami o mas kokonti. Hindi yung bibilin, pero yung force, no? Mas malakas. No? So, for example, sa demand. Tingnan natin, ano ba yung mga nagbagagalaw sa demand curve? Unang-una is the substitute, no? So, ano ba yung substitute ng pandesal? For the sake of argument, gawin nating puto, no? So, if puto is a substitute of pandesal, and let's say the price of puto went up by 100%, what do you think will happen to the demand for pandesal? Di ba? So, hindi lang quantity ang mangyayari dito, kundi lahat mag-shift. Hindi na sila magpuputo, magpapandesal. Kaya, hindi lang dami ang nabibili, kundi mapipilitan na mag-increase ng volume of transaction, hindi lang ng quantity. Okay? Another that affects the supply or as demand shifter is the example of expectation, no? Nagbabago expectation. For example, pag Christmas, in-expect natin na madami tayong mabibili kasi marami tayong pera. So, namumove din niya yung demand. Right? Another example that will shift demand is change in taste and preference. No? Ano ba yung change in taste and preference? Critical dito, yung example ng Nokia. I don't know how many of you have a Nokia phone right now. There is Nokia again today, but you know, less than 10 years ago, almost everyone has a Nokia phone. Yan ang phone that describes you. No, what happened? One day, ayaw na ng mga tao, nag-change ang taste and preference. Why? They wanted a smartphone. So, change of taste and preference, hindi na sila bumili ng Nokia o ayaw na nila. So, bumagsak ang sales. No? So, it's not the quantity, it's not the price, it's the whole demand curve falling. Okay? And, lastly, ang nakaka-affect din sa taste and sa supply, sa demand is technology, fashion, among others. Okay? Nakaka-affect it. Now, what about supply? Ano naman nakaka-apekto sa supply? So, kanina, sabi ko, yung pandesal, ano ba ang ingredients to make pandesal? Diba? Sugar, egg, flour. No? So, these three or even more. So, ito yung main three: sugar, flour, eggs, yung pinakamahalaga. If the price of these inputs, no, will make you produce one pandesal at 90 centavos at biglang nagmahal ang mga price ng inputs na to, ano mangyayari? So, mapipilitan ka ngayong tumaas ang price higher. So, ang presyo hindi nagbago, hindi mo mapabago, ano mangyayari? Kukuntian mo na lang ang supply mo. Bababa ang supply curve. So, hindi na siya kasing dami before. Another one is like this pandemic. Nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic. A natural and political disruption can cause a supply shift. No? Kukunti din ang bibili ng products kasi hindi makalabas sa mga tao. Okay? The same thing, yung nangyayari sa impact naman ng change in regulation. So let's say, sasabihin ng government, bawat bibilhin mo, magkakaroon ng tax. So, for example, nagkaroon tayo ng tax sa soft drinks. Yan. So ano mangyayari? Tumaas yung presyo, hindi dahil sa presyo niya, kundi binago yung policy. Okay? So these are all called supply shifters. They move supply and demand other than prices. Now, in summary, nakita na natin na buong story about supply and demand is about the consumer satisfaction, the producer's profit, based on unlimited needs and wants of people, subject to available resources for the consumer and the producer, making them choose the product that gives them the most, choosing based on opportunity cost. Okay? So, example, in this pandemic, nakita natin ano ba ang nagawa ng pandemic na to sa certain elements, no? For example, yung face mask, face shield, nung una, ang mahal, no? So everybody wants to buy it, so they are not looking at the price kasi urgent. But Once the producers were able to produce more supply was available, what happened to the price? Bumaba, no? Ganun din, ano nangyari naman sa vitamins? Vitamins, hindi naman nagbago ang price at became an essential. So, most of us, before, kung di ka regularly nagko-consume, ngayon, ko-consume ka na everyday. So, the vitamin producers, kumita sila. Kasi more demand. Alright? What about barbecue? Neutral siguro yan. No? May pandemic, no pandemic, basta makakabili ka ng meat, makakapag-barbecue ka. Or ng fish. Okay? But what has affected greatly is yung mga school-related supplies, no? Uniform, books, papers, pen. Hindi na kasing pareho before na talagang kailangan meron kaming lahat yan bago pumasok. Ngayon, dahil study from home po tayong lahat, no? Hindi po natin yan masyado kailangan. So it is telling you that supply and demand is really important. It does not change even if we are post-pandemic, even if we are going to be blended learning, even in a digital age, the foundation will remain the same. It will depend on unlimited needs and wants, our satisfaction, the producer's ability to make profit, and the opportunity cost involved. So I hope may natutunan po tayo and looking forward to answering your questions. Thank you and God bless you.